Given what's going on in the world at the moment, a lot of people have questions around money. So today we are doing a pick a card yes/no reading, and it's going to be focused around money questions. We have 3 piles, pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. If you have more than one question, feel free to go through this more than once, and you'll probably find you will be attracted to different piles for different questions, and that's totally fine. This isn't also going to just be a yes/no answer, because I don't want to leave you saying, great, but now what? How do I know? What does it mean? So as you can see, there's actually quite a few cards in these readings. So there will be a lot of context around your yes/no, because I don't want you left asking, but why? Instead, you're going to know everything you need to know around your question, as well as further advice from your guides. You'll also get archetype information to know where you're coming from around your question, what archetype you're coming to it through, and how you're relating that to your question. Are you following the light aspect of that archetype or the shadow aspect of that archetype? And you want to be following the light aspect. So what is it, therefore, what action you need to take to get yourself, if you find yourself in the shadow, what you need to take to do to get yourself to that light aspect, which is where you want to be. Now, one thing that is really important before I start on this to know is how to phrase your question. So what you need to do is your yes answer represents the positive outcome that you want, and the no answer represents the outcome that you don't want. So you need to phrase your question in a way that a yes is that positive outcome and a no is what you don't want. So for example, if you are worried that you can't pay for something, then if you phrase your question along the lines of, am I going to struggle to pay for something? You're actually hoping at that point for a no, because you don't want to struggle. And that isn't going to get you what you need from these readings. So you need to rephrase that question to, will I be able to easily pay for this item, for example? Because then you're hoping for a yes, and that is what's aligned with these 3 readings. So hopefully that makes sense. Phrase your question that yes is the answer that you are hoping to get, and no is the answer that you are hoping to avoid. Okay? Now, if you've never done a pick a card reading before, it's super simple. All you have to do is clear your mind a bit, focus on your question, and see which of these 3 piles attracts you. It's as simple as that. Now, I will be going straight into the reading for pile 1. However, for pile 2 and 3, to save you sitting through all the previous ones, I will put a link in the description below that will take you directly to the reading for pile 2 and the reading for pile 3. So you just have to click on the one of those 2 if you want those 2, or pile 1, just stay on board and we'll get that going. So this is all it takes. So let's have a look at the 3 piles. We have pile 1, and for this we are representing it by a clear double-pointed quartz. It's a gorgeous gem that you can see. It's nearly transparent. There's very few flaws in it. It is absolutely stunningly beautiful. For pile 2, I've represented that with a beautiful tiger's eye, and the way that catches the light and just changes in the light, and you can see different things. It is a true kind of transformation gem. I love this gem. I love how the little lines go up and down as the light changes. So this is the energy for pile 2. For pile 3, we have what I believe is a pyrite crystal. And you can see all the little gold crystals in here. It is really beautiful. It's like the world in gold kind of thing. And this is what represents pile 3. So go ahead, clear your mind, ask your question in your mind, and which of the 3 piles are you attracted to? Pile 1, pile 2, or pile 3? And I'll see you in the reading. Welcome to the reading for pile 1. So, for the archetype for this one, we have the Virgin. And this is all about being pure and of heart and spirit. And in the case of money, a beginner. It is about needing to learn for what you need to know about money, to understand money management, to get advice and being okay with this, because you are currently at the beginner stage with everything you need to know around money and your question. So what about the shadow aspect? Well, this, in the case of money, is about the fear of money management. And it's not a case of you sort of don't like it. You have a block against it. You are actively against it. You're scared of it. You don't want to get overwhelmed by it. You don't want to go into it and do, sort of the expense that needs doing, all this sort of thing. You have a physical block. And that is one of the things that you need to clear. If you find yourself in this shadow aspect, you need to look at all your money blocks and start clearing them. And you need to look at all your blocks around managing money and clear them, because that is what's going to get you coming back up into this light attribute, where you may not have the knowledge you need, but you're perfectly willing to get it and willing to get advice from someone who does have the knowledge you need. So this is where you're coming from with your question. And from there, I drew another oracle card. This one is called Fragility. And what this is life is very short, and the money can be, sort of here and gone as well. There's a fragility underneath the whole thing. Nothing is fully stable. So what you need to do is take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way. Don't procrastinate around it. If you're in this light aspect, then go out and get the education you need. Go out and get the advice you need. And if you're in the shadow aspect, take the opportunity to clear it and get yourself up to this light aspect, because again, this is where you want to be. And this is telling you, don't wait, don't pretend things are okay if they're not. If there's a crack in something, you need to solve it and get yourself up into that light aspect with your money question. So here comes the crux of the thing. Is the answer to your question a yes, no, and why? We have the Knight of Pentacles, and this is a big yes. For this question, the money around this question is very solid. You are going to avoid this shadow, and you are going to take really good care of this money. You're going to steward your resources well and invest them well and plant them where they need to be planted, and it will grow from there. And you will make sure that this nice amount of money works hard for you, because you are very responsible with this. You may not have the knowledge, but you are going to be responsible, and you're not going to just wait on your laurels and hope that things don't go badly. You're going to get this education you need, and you are going to be a really good steward of this money and make sure that it does what you need for you, and you grow it to the stage that you need to grow it to do what you need. And you are very solid in what you do know, and you are going to get solid in the advice that you need. So this is going to be a really good outcome for you with this question. So let's look at what else you need to know around this. And for this, we have the Sun reversed, the Five of Cups reversed, and the Chariot reversed. Actually, I'm going to put the Chariot in the middle. These three are what you need to know to turn things around. So we have the Sun reversed, and the Sun is the happiest card in the deck, and even reversed, it's still pretty happy. So while this answer may not solve every possible aspect of your question, things are still going to be pretty damn awesome, and you're going to get the outcome you're hoping for. You will stop feeling like you're being pulled in every single possible different direction and like you just want to sit down and cry. And instead, you'll get yourself in charge of things, and you'll clear up anything that needs clearing up, and you'll get yourself to a place that is so much better than where you currently are. It'll almost feel like the heavens are shining down on you and that your life has done a 180 around this question. And it's going to take you to such a wonderful place that you'll be incredibly happy. Eventually, yes, you may realize that there's more, but this will get you 90% of the way to what you consider an absolutely perfect outcome around your question. So then I asked for further advice from your guides, and for that we have the Nine of Cups reversed. Now what this is saying is you need to find out what you don't know about the situation, what's behind the curtain. There is hidden stuff that will affect your decision and your outcome. Now, it might not make or break the situation, but it will definitely affect how you feel about it. So you want to find this hidden information, and this could be the stuff that you don't yet know that you need to learn and get advice on. It could be something else. But you need to find this hidden information because this will make the difference for you. Drop a like, subscribe, and comment that you claim Pile 1's reading if this resonated with you. And if you want a more personalized help, I do readings to find what is hidden, so I can help you find that, and the link to that is in the description below this video. I'm Karen from Soul Driven Tarot, and I'll see you in the next reading. Welcome to the reading for Pile 2. So for the archetype for this, we have the Alchemist. Now that is a super powerful archetype. Basically, the light attribute says you are very good at turning what you have into money. It's almost like you have the Midas touch. Everything you touch turns to gold. It is an incredibly powerful ability to have when it comes to money. However, the shadow side is equally powerful, but not in quite as good a way. So you have to watch out for power trips and misusing this ability, because this will go really badly if you do misuse it, and that's where regrets happen. So the first thing I did was actually pull an oracle card, and two came out. So we are going to start with this one. We have the Retribution card, and what this is saying is, because you are so good at manifesting money with a sort of Midas touch, you need to watch out for others' jealousy. You need to get to know your values, your morals, what drives you, your why. Why do you do what you do? Because this is going to be your guiding light for decisions, and this will help you build a foundation that will serve you going forward and keep you out of the trap of the shadow. Once you know what you will do, what you won't do, what you will accept, what you won't accept, all of this comes as a warning to stay out of the shadow. The other card is Balance. And what this says is you need to make your decisions very carefully by considering both sides of every decision. Seek moderation and balance in what you're doing so you avoid these extremes. And this is also about avoiding this shadow side. So this is obviously a really big thing. You have two warnings about the same thing for this because this is such a powerful archetype. So, to the crux of the reading, this is your yes, no to your specific question. And we have the 10 of Wands. So the answer to your question is yes, but it will be a big burden on you. It feels like you kind of can't see the wood for the trees and you're doing all this work around your question with no help from anyone else. So there's a bit of resentment in there. And that resentment is what's going to tempt you towards this shadow side. So you need to be really sure and keep this balance and retribution card in mind, this warning, so that you have this guiding light, so you make the right decisions. And this outcome turns out to be what you were hoping for and not sort of almost like a parody of it. Keep that in mind because this could guide you in a very wrong direction if you succumb to this resentment and things. So what do you need to know around your question? And for that we have the Fool reversed, the 10 of Pentacles reversed, and the 6 of Swords. And I'm going to move these in here since this is bigger than the other two, given that we have these two other cards, this other card. So what this means is you feel a little like less carefree around your question. It's almost like it represents a cliff edge to you, like a make it or break it situation. And that sort of speaks to this. You've done a lot and it is a really big burden on you now. So this is a really big deal. And again, this comes with this warning of, is this going to push you towards the shadow? So you need to know this, what your guiding light is. Because as an alchemist, you have the ability to get a life-changing amount of money coming into your life. However, because of this, there's something holding you back, and it's probably the temptation to go into the shadow aspect and misuse it, because your higher self will not want you going down this route if you're supposed to go to the light route. And it will do everything it can by blocking you to stop you using what, sort of going down the wrong route and using the shadow. So what this is about is you need to find out why you are being tempted towards this. It's time to look into this. And, there's some shame in here and possibly some fear around past thoughts that have previously affected you around money. And now is the time to clear that up, so you can turn this around and get yourself grounded in your thoughts, beliefs, values, get into balance. And instead of being like unstable and, sort of about to fall off the edge of a cliff kind of thing, and super isolated and on your own, and you want to find the right people who will guide you. And this includes your higher self, who is obviously the most important, because this will help you guide you towards the light attribute and keep you on course, knowing where you stand and what you will and won't put up with, deal with, accept, whatever it is for you, what your values are. And that, getting that guidance from your higher self, your guides, an outside person, whatever it is for you, you need some help making sure that you know what these are, and when you do, you need to stick to them, because that is what will turn these around and make life easier and more Midas-like. You're going to get that archetype to work for you instead of against you. So we have some further advice around this from your guides, and for that we have the Lovers reversed. And this says, amazingly, a very similar thing. You need to ground yourself into your higher guidance, your higher self, your guides. That needs to be your guide, your grounding, your base, your foundation of everything that is obviously around this question. And this is obviously a really big deal, because we've got 2 cards instead of 1 for every other reading. We have this one saying it, we have this one saying it, this one saying it, this one saying it. It is this temptation that you have got to stay away from. And you want to get your higher values grounded, and don't let yourself get tempted or led astray. There will always be that nagging little voice on your shoulder suggesting, well, things will be easier if you just did X, Y, Z, whatever that is, that you're currently not willing to do. So you need to stick to this guiding light. Keep your eyes on the prize of being an incredible alchemist and being able to turn things into whatever you want. And go with that, and this is the way to get there instead of succumbing. Drop a like, subscribe and comment if you claim this reading for pile 2 if it resonated with you. If you want more help working out what it is that you need to release, there is a link below in the description to book a reading with me. I'm Karen from Soul Driven Tarot, and I'll see you in the next video. Welcome to the reading for pile 3. So, we have the Wounded Child, and what this is about is basically you have been through a lot, and you have come out the other side. You have healed yourself, and now because of that you have a lot of compassion for others who are going through the same thing that you went through. And that gives you a desire to help others. However, when this comes to your money question, it might mean that given that you are still a child and therefore don't have all the knowledge in this area, not physically a child, but don't have the knowledge in this area, you don't have the wisdom you need that goes with that compassion. And that may mean that you might not last very long with this money because you are very compassionate about helping others. So you're going to be very easily parted from this money, which is not what we want. Now, if we look at the shadow aspect, this is about where you are blaming others for your financial results, basically, and your lack of money or whatever it is, and it's not your fault. So and so did this, or the government did that. Whatever it is, you are not basically owning your results, and this is part of this being a child. You are not taking responsibility, and the key here is, when you take responsibility, you have the ability to respond. In other words, you have the ability to change your outcomes. Whereas when you sit there and you blame, it's outside of yourself, and therefore you don't have the power to change it. So by taking responsibility and growing up out of the child, you end up being able to change this. So these are the 2 attributes of this archetype. Now, the first thing I did was to pull an oracle card, and for this we have the Vows card. And I think this is really interesting. This came up in a financial abundance reading that I did like about 2 weeks ago. And it was talking a very similar thing to this. Basically, this is about keeping your word, both to yourself and others. So if you've signed a contract like an NDA, don't violate it. If you've put a financial plan in place and told yourself and maybe your advisors that you will stick to it, don't give in and don't break it. Or pretty soon you will lose this money, because if you do that, you then won't be able to help anyone. Yeah? You can only help someone from a position of strength. You cannot help someone from a position of weakness. So you have to be true to your word, whatever happens, because otherwise you will end up succumbing to this side of this compassion and just giving everyone all your money, which we don't want. We don't want to be blaming others for a lack of money, but we equally don't want to be giving it away without, sort of understanding what we're doing. So part of this child is about becoming wiser and getting the advice you need, getting the knowledge you need, and then keeping your word to yourself. So we come to the crux of the reading. This is the answer, the yes/no answer to your question and why. And for this, we have the world reversed. Your answer is actually a no. It's almost like you've isolated yourself from every possible resource that could help you with this question. And the outcome is unfortunately, therefore, not going to be what you're looking for. However, keep in mind the outcome that is in the future, it's not set in stone. So this reading could literally be your wake-up call to turn yourself around before this happens. And therefore, you will get what you need if you take the action that this reading is going to give you, the reasoning and the why and what you need to do to fix it. You can turn this around. But currently, with the way you are going, the answer is a no. So what you want to do is you want to look into your blocks, into your excuses around money, and you need to clear them up. You need to figure out how to get the help you need, to get the wisdom you need, to change what you're doing going forward. And you need to clear up these beliefs and these blocks that are holding you back. And then you need to step up and take responsibility for where you currently are with your results. That is the first step in changing them. You also need to reconnect with your higher self and your guides and your intuition. And if you need somebody else initially to step in and help you, get that. But ultimately, it comes down to you. You need to connect with yourself, your higher self, to get the answers you need. So I've had a look at what you need to know around this. And for this, we have the Moon reversed, the Seven of Wands, and the Magician. So this is saying very, very similar thing, which is interesting. You're basically deluding yourself a bit, not quite seeing things as they really are. You are one thing and you are perceiving another. This goes with the blaming other people for your results and the disconnecting yourself from everything. You need to start seeing the truth of the matter and what's really going on. This is not an attack on you. This no is not an attack on you. Maybe these people are not here attacking you and you don't have to blame them either. And it's time to start being 100% honest with yourself around this question. Why do you want this outcome? What is it going to get you? Is it really what you need, or is it just sort of a passing want? Is it worth putting all of your resources and time and energy into manifesting it? Or is there something better that if you connected with your guides and your higher self, you'd actually find out about? Once your mind is clear, you'll be able to see through the truth of things and stop feeling like you've been cornered, and start working out exactly what will give you what's best for you. Because maybe these people are trying to stop you jumping off a self-delusional cliff, and they're actually here to help, and they're perhaps protecting you from what they think is delusional. Okay? There are two ways to see things here. You need to step into the higher perspective and connect with your higher self so that you can see what's really going on and what's the truth. Because the truth is, you're actually a very powerful manifester. And you have everything you need to manifest what you need and what you want. And you just need that ability to stop lying to yourself so that you turn things around. Because once you've done that, you are going to be a very, very powerful light worker, helping people who have been through the same stuff that you've been through. And you will have the compassion and now the tools to do it, and you will move into being more wise and more able to help others. But you will only do that if you can help yourself first. So we have further advice from your guides, and for that we have the Two of Pentacles reversed. And what this is saying is you are currently off balance. And it's what's throwing you into the shadow side of this archetype and keeping you blocked. It's time to sort through things and regain your footing and get in charge of whatever your money question is about. Because the moment you're in charge, at the moment you're not in charge, and the moment you get yourself in charge, you have the power to change it. But currently, you are just being led around by your question and by what you think other people are doing. And that just isn't helping you. So you need to start seeing this truth and actually admitting it to yourself and changing and taking responsibility and moving forward with that responsibility and keeping that responsibility to yourself. Drop a like, subscribe and comment and claim this reading for pile 3 if it resonated with you. And if you want more personalized help and finding out exactly what money blocks you need to release, I do have a reading service below, and it is in the description with a link that you can book a private reading. I'm Karen from Soul Driven Tarot, and I'll see you in the next video.